Plaza Casino, Divot Energy, Sonic Drive-Ins, and by the Oklahoma Highway Safety Office, where we encourage all of you fans that together we can end DUI. Now, for the greatest show on earth, from today's episode of the PCSRA Paddock Pass from Yukon, Oklahoma, here's the voice of the PCSRA, Daniel Woods. And hello and good afternoon, good morning, I should say, and welcome to the PCSRA Paddock Pass show. Before we get into our national anthem for today's show, want to go ahead and take this time to take our moment of silence to remember to think about my friend Sam Davis, who lost his family member this past week. Thank you. And now please be outstanding for the two national anthems we have today. Thank you to the Dutch and the Austrian national anthem for Red Bull Racing and from Max Verstappen. So, welcome to Triple P. Hope everybody's having a very good Tuesday morning or afternoon on the East Coast. Because I know I'm doing alright. Just got the storage unit. And forward to being in the wind blowing like crazy, because the wind doesn't know how to stop blowing all over the place. Knocked my fork over while I was trying to eat lunch. But yeah. So, not surprised about that, but oh well. Anyway, before I get to, as my charger's now starting to be disconnected from me, as I was trying to say, before I start today's episode of Triple P, just please note, I will put a little note down in the description, down below, no spamming, the chat while the show is going on, because I will have to remove your comment, or one of my admins will remove your comment on spamming. So, just gonna give you an FYI. fact that I'm probably going to have to stay in a hotel instead of having to go back and where I have to isolate for 10 days after the race weekend. So, as my charger can't stop farting. You know, we're going to have to wait and see, because I don't know if I'm going to be off or if I'm going to have to postpone it to probably next year, because that's going to be the plan of attack as far as that's concerned and all that. And making sure that we run smoothly in the way we want to do it. So, yeah. I think that's all I have to say at the moment. If you have anything you want to, if I have anything to say, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm ready to get on with the program as far as this show is concerned. Today's episode of Triple P, we're going to recap Las Vegas. We're going to talk about did Kyle Busch cause controversy to help his teammate? We'll get our panelists to discuss on that situation. We'll take you through the top story news. We'll give you some news and notes for our Inside PCSRA update with last night's Coke 600, which you'll be shocked who won the race. We'll go through some rest of the NR news and all that, and then we will look ahead to Phoenix International Raceway. One little program note I need to pass along before we do any of that. The World Endurance podcast that was scheduled for, I think it was sometime in April. Will be sometime in April, because one of the race weekends was postponed due to the COVID-19 deal. Like, let me tell you an example. The 24 Hours of Le Mans that was scheduled for June will now be in August because of the fact that the people in France want to have fans for this year's running of the 24 Hours of Le Mans after they had to run the race without fans last season. I'll discuss that in a minute. By the way, hi, Roadrunner in the chat. As far as that's concerned, a couple of IMSA news to pass along before we start. Because of the 24 Hours of Le Mans moving to August, the GT race at Lime Rock was rescheduled to October to avoid a clash with the World Endurance. And the season finale for the Petite Le Mans that was scheduled for like sometime in October has been moved to the final weekend. Has been moved to the weekend after the NASCAR Championship weekend at Phoenix. So, as far as that's concerned, those are the current changes and all that good stuff. So, yeah. So, with that being said, I'm not going to bring the panelists in for recapping. I'll bring them in after I'm done recapping the Las Vegas weekend, which we're about to recap it right now. Let's get off of that. Thank you very much. So, starting with the Truck Series race at Las Vegas. Of course, I didn't watch it because I had to work. In fact, the only race I watched this weekend for Vegas was the Cup race. So, just so you know, I didn't watch Xfinity because I had to work as well. So, yeah, I'm like 0-3. Or no, 0-3 in trucks, 0-4 in Xfinity on watching. Because I don't even bother watching the big TV because somebody's going to be watching bad, which don't ask why. So, there you go. Anyway, back to the recapping part. As I said, didn't watch because I had to work that night, so let me tell you how it went down. First incident, Corey Roper got loose underneath the truck. He spun out. Did a burnout, almost hit Jennifer Jo Cobb while trying to get his truck refired, but he did continue on, but something else happened to him later in the race. We'll get to that in just a minute. Nothing else happened in Stage 1. That was won by John Hunter Nemechek. Nothing happened in Stage 2. That was won by Kyle Busch. The restarts were so crazy, and I couldn't tell you how crazy they were, if you ask me. Then Connor Daly gets loose underneath the truck going into turn number 1. He slams the inside wall hard. Sheldon Creed brushed the wall, and then Tyler Hill spun, trying to avoid the breaker as the wind's starting to blow, and is bouncing my TV up and down like a pogo stick as my charger can't stop farting. Then Chandler Smith got loose, hit the wall, and then spun out his 18 truck as my charger cannot stop farting again. As I'm trying to do a recap without the charger farting, because the charger likes to poop and fart and flip me off. Where was I? Oh yes. Then Chandler Smith spun off turn number 2. Didn't hit anything, or no, wait, hang on. No, Kyle Busch had a flat left rear tire. He spun out. We don't know if it was intentional or not, which we'll ask our panelists that question in just a minute, when we have the panelists. Then we had the big one. Contact between, I don't know who started the wreck, but I heard Rafael Lazar got turned, shot up the track, got Haley Deegan, David Gilliland, Austin Wayne Self, Brett Holmes, who made his debut, and Ryan Truex. Some of them continued on, some of them didn't. And then Corey Roper got hooked by Tyler Hill. Hill went in the grass, destroyed the splitter. The 04 truck hit the wall, driver's side. The truck was in the air. He could have flipped. And then the final caution of the race, Tyler Ankrum got together with Jordan Anderson. They got in the, they spun out. Ankrum hit the wall. Jordan Anderson had a little bit of damage, but he was having such a good run. They also collected the 23 of Chase Purdy and the 75 of Parker Kligerman, who was having a good run. Because let me tell you, a fourth of the field was sponsored by Camping World, so no surprise there. But at the end of the day, John Hunter Nemechek gets his first win of the season and secured himself a spot into the playoffs. So the top 10 results for the truck race. John Hunter Nemechek won, Kyle Busch second, Austin Hill third, Stuart Friesen fourth, Matt Crafton fifth, Zane Smith sixth, Grant Enfinger seventh, who, by the way, first time he was in the 9 truck. First time he was in a truck that's not the 98. I wonder if Grant Enfinger might be leaving ThorSport. Who knows? We'll see. Parker Kligerman 8th, Christian Eckes 9th, and Ben Rhodes complete top 10. Rhodes kept the points lead going into their off week this weekend. That is Xfinity. This is Xfinity. Okay. Then we go to the Xfinity Series race. Of course, as I said, did not watch because I was at work. So let's say how it went down. First incident, Stephen Parsons, excuse me. Do not help me, I know what I'm doing, so. God damn it. Stephen Parsons, getting back on topic, I'm getting the two drivers mixed up, but anyway. Stephen Parsons, as the wind needs to settle down. Let's try that again. Stephen Parsons, before the damn wind decides to be a dickhead, he spun coming off turn number 4. Brought out the yellow, which, by the way, became the competition yellow. Nothing happened in stage 1. That was won by Austin Cindric. Then the 54 of Ty Dillon gets loose, comes down, got the 98 of Riley Herbst, also collected Michael Annette. Annette and Dillon continued on. Riley Herbst sadly had to drop out of the race because of a suspension failure, and he had to go to the care center, which, surprisingly, the 98 not doing well compared to this time last year with Chase Briscoe behind the wheel. Then Ryan Sieg spun off turn 4, broke the splitter. No surprise there. His day was done. Then Josh Berry and Justin Haley got together in turn number 3, caused an incident there. Both drivers continued on. Nothing else happened. Rest of stage 2, nothing else happened. That was won by Daniel Hemrick. Then Austin Cindric decided it would be legal enough to bump draft Harrison Burton coming out of the dogleg, which proved to be a bad idea. Spun the 20 car around. The 20 didn't hit anything, continued on his merry little way. Then Ty Dillon got clipped by Brent Moffitt, collected Alex LeBay, the 17 of Garrett Smithley, and the 13 of David Starr in the process. And at the end of the day, the Dinger, AJ Allmendinger, gets his first win of the season at Las Vegas, which is pretty cool if you ask me. So the top 10 results for the Xfinity Series race. AJ Allmendinger, the winner, Daniel Hemrick second, Brandon Jones finished third, Austin Cindric fourth, Noah Gragson fifth, Michael Annett sixth, Josh Berry seventh, Justin Haley eighth, Harrison Burton ninth, and Jeb Burton complete the top 10. Then we go to the Cup Series race at Las Vegas, the Pennzoil 400, presented by Jiffy Lube. The race was too blah, if you ask me, even though somebody's going to disagree and say, oh my god, Las Vegas was great! Me, you're joking. Had a competition yellow to start the race. No surprise. Then we had debris caution. If you exclude the 4 yellows, we only had 2 cautions overall. If you exclude the debris caution, the 2 stages, and also the competition yellow, we only had 2 cautions in the race, which is not surprising, but kind of almost like NR physics, but you know what I mean. Stage 1 was complete, was won by Brad Keselowski, who beat Chase Elliott. Nothing in Stage 2. Kyle Larson won Stage 2. First actual incident, Chase Elliott got loose coming off turn number 2. He came down, clipped Kurt Busch on the way by. He made a great save. He continued on after the 9 car. So it was like 2 repair jobs that the 9 team did, but they had to salvage something out of this day as far as that's concerned. Then the final caution, Eric Almirola cut down a left front tire going into turn number 1. Car shot up the track, pancaked the right side of the car. He was the only one out of the race as far as damaged vehicle policy is concerned, which is, there you go. Nothing else happened as far as the trying to get a yellow and all that. And at the end of the day, Kyle Larson got the checker flag, his first win of the season. He became the fastest Hendrick Motorsports driver to join a new team to go to victory lane. Took 4 starts. The next one was like Terry Labonte, not Bobby Labonte, ESPN, you derping hippopotamuses. And that is Hendrick Motorsports win number 264. How about that? So the top 10 results for the Cup race. Kyle Larson won, Brad Keselowski second, Kyle Busch third, Denny Hamlin fourth, Ryan Blaney fifth, Martin Truex Jr. sixth, Christopher Bell seventh, excuse me. William Byron eighth, Joey Logano ninth, and Eric Jones for the Petties brings home a top 10. As now I'm about to welcome the panelists. 1 second. Hopefully they have not noticed I've gone live. As I get a ping from the NRL, which probably saying, hey, team owners, and all that. F word for Christian Vargas. But anyway. My thoughts on Vegas. Well, to be fair, I think Vegas is everybody. I know that everybody's going to say, probably, you know, trucks and Xfinity, it was crazy with all the restarts. Cup, it was blah, if you ask me. So, I mean, yeah, I'm happy to see a Hendrick Motorsports driver go to victory lane, but in all honesty, I really think they need to do something with this package, because last few Vegas races have been really underwhelming so far. As the wind cannot stop blowing the damn trash can over, and I have to pick it up while I'm trying to do this show. So, yeah, there you go. Okay. If I had to rate this weekend's races, the truck race, and don't be biased because, like I said, I didn't watch it, so, and I know somebody's going to be biased in the chat, so, on you. As much as the race, as much as we had a lot of yellows and all that, I'm still going to give it I'm going to give it a 7 for the truck race. Xfinity, I too will give it a 7. The Cup race, however, I'm going to give it a 6. Because, I mean, yeah, Kyle Larson led the race and all that, but, and we had different leaders, but just not the typical Vegas you normally see as far as, you know, can their engine survive and all that. Just wasn't a typical Vegas race, but oh well. That's just my opinion on the whole deal, so don't get mad at me because I have a different opinion versus anybody else, especially if you're on the Pit Stop Show, so, yeah. Let's see, let me ping the panelists real quickly before I, forget, because I know they would like their input on this whole deal. Dad blast it. Hang on a second. Let me try that again. Do not say nicer because I'm not in the mood. There. That's what I was trying to say. But, anyway. Not in the mood to, screw around if you ask me, so. Just so you know. But anyway. While we wait for the panelists, I'll just go straight into what happened at Charlotte last night, which brings us to our Inside PCSRA update. I will edit the agenda in a minute. Yeah, I'm going to actually go through the full results of last night's Coke 600, the 14th race of the Reese's Pro Series, just to get that out of the way while I'm waiting for the Triple P members. I know Cody Smart, that is, if you don't know. Cody had like a fungus on his toe, so he's probably at the nurse's office trying to get that taken care of. He should be okay by the time we get to predictions. Oh, and by the way, there's Huggable Ormy. Yes. Yes. Oh, disclaimer. I did the Coke 600 this morning while everybody went to bed. For anyone that's asking, so. Yeah. Let's just say what Nathan Orman saw in the NR 2003 news report. Let's say that was kind of a apologetic by Alexandria Van Dam and Marianne Jamestown, respectively, which I know they didn't mean to do something to Orman last night, which I'd probably say that would be an accident, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, there's no bad blood loss between the Orman cars, as far as that's concerned. Yeah, Alexandria did apologize to Nathan Orman because she admitted she accidentally cut Orman down on accident, and Orman accidentally ran in the back of his teammate who was trying to get out of the way. So, racing deal, if you ask me, last night. And who won the race? Lisa Gonzalez, who came in this race 35th in the points. here's the full finishing results from last night's race at Charlotte, in a race that took 3 hours and 41 minutes. So, Lisa Gonzalez, first win of the season. Great job for her. Another win for Chevrolet. So, Chevy wins the Cup race. They win the PCSRA Coke 600. All the day's work. Good run for Frida Suarez. She came home second. Diego Marquez third. How about Brenda Eveling, who finished fourth? She was actually the dominant car of the day, but I think she had a tire going down towards the end of the race, which was too bad because she looked like the car to beat. Yeah, led 213 of the 400 laps last night, but came home fourth. Sean Art, nice top 5 run for him in fifth. Betty Barrett 6th. Truman X 7th. Alexandria Van Dam, despite accidentally cutting off her team owner, which was on accident, came home in 8th. Sally Foster 9th. And Maria came home in 10th. Lauren Ekstrom 11th. Chloe Erickson 12th. Ish Taylor 13th. Everybody else finished behind the wall in the garage area. Can you believe that? We had attrition in the Coke 600. Emily Elizabeth and James Qualls fell out of the race late with engine failures. They came home 14th and 15th. Courtney Lynn, who came in as the points leader, had an engine failure late in the race after a solid run going. Finished 16th. She kept the points lead, by the way. Noah Tutu 17th. Reagan Whitlock 18th. Brittany White 19th. Annie Thomas 20th. More on the 23 situation when we get to the rest of the NR report. 21st, Emily Anderson. 22nd, Kaya Langland. 23rd, Luke Cage. 24th, Ildo Saviga. Not going to get herself in the top 35. Nathan Orman, 25th. Marion Jamestown, 26th. Morgan Henderson, 27th. Sandy Watson, 28th. Greg Ruts, 29th. Ben Erickson, 30th. 31st, Kevin Joseph. 32nd, Leela Bakai, 2nd in points. Was involved in the big one we had early in the race. Andy Winters, 33rd. 34th, Ben Tennyson. 35th, Marco Diaz. Not going to get himself in the top 35. He is now, I think, 39th or 41st in points. He's had a miserable season so far. Troy Kate, 36th. 37th, Sam Johnson. Betty Johnson, 38th. 39th, Chloe Baumgartner. Mia Watts, 40th. Such a shame for Mia Watts, who made it into the main event and gets caught up in somebody else's stupidity. So there you go. 41st, Seth Cole and Jazz Sugartown. 42nd out of the race, not even completing 50 miles. Too bad. So, yep. Championship standings. Courtney Lynn still keeps the points lead, as I documented earlier. They next race at Pocono, which will be the next race on the calendar. So, yeah. So, Ormy's happy because Brenda Eveling finally had a rocket ship. Unfortunately, 2 laps down, finished in 4th. But hey, at least she needed a good run for a driver that came in 32nd in points. So, at least on the flip side for Orman, it was an okay weekend if you ask me. So, alright, Ormy, what was your thoughts on Vegas? I've already given you my thoughts. What's your thoughts? Oh, should I point out, the drivers that raced last night, by the way, just woke up, just so you all know. They had let's say they just had a very long sleep. They had a very long night going home, so I guess they just crashed out, listened to music, and they just passed out. So, okay, that's nature for them, because why not? So, anyway, what would you rate the race, Orman? I've already given my rating. I gave Trucks a 7, Xfinity 7, Cup 6. That's how we rate it. Oh, that's going to be interesting. So let's get right into the top story news. We just talked about NASCAR is reviewing whether or not the incident Kyle Busch caused in the truck race, if that spin was intentional. Do you think it was intentional, Norman, or do you think it was just one of those things? Because the only way he spun out was because the left rear tire was flat in the BP fashion. If you don't know who BP is, it's Benny Parsons line, because I still use the Benny Parsons line, if you know what I mean. I could see it becoming a fine, if you know what I mean, because I think, you know, and this is almost like what happened at Richmond 2013 when Clint Boyer intentionally spun out to help his teammates get in the chase for the championship, in which Brian Vickers, the guilty party, was involved in this whole deal, so. Which I still think Brian Vickers should have made the playoffs in 2013, but NASCAR kind of bullshit that, in my opinion, so. But oh well. That's just my opinion on the whole deal, if you know what I mean, so. Next topic to discuss. The Portuguese Grand Prix, since we were last with you guys. Portuguese Grand Prix is back on the calendar for the 2021 F1 season. The June 6th race at Azerbaijan will not have fans in attendance. Who likes that little deal I just did? What? Yeah, I should do that. Like I done to Canada, I should do that for every intro when I do Azerbaijan. I should do that sometime. I should do that in one of my, I think either in Season 2 of F1 2020 or F1 2021, I should start doing that. Yeah, you know what I mean. So. Next topic we need to discuss, staying in F1. WADA, if you don't know what WADA stands for, I'll explain this. It's the World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA for short, is looking into the controversy F1 livery that Haas revealed this year and questions over its compliance with a ban against Russia. Your thoughts on that, Nathan Orman? Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if Haas is going to definitely run that scheme, because if they run that scheme, oh boy, can you imagine how much controversy that's going to be? Oh, definitely. Yeah. And you know what happened, of course, you know, when Rokid terminated their deal after Williams had their toothpaste-looking car, they had to on that and had to get Sofina to be their sponsor. So, you know, we'll have to see what's going to happen with this scheme. But, you know, in my opinion, they should have just added stars. That way it would not confuse the Russian flag and the American flag. Because after all, and also the French flag, because after all, they are the same colors. It's just the U.S. has stars and stripes versus, like, the plain, you know what I mean. So, that's just my opinion on that ordeal. Need to point out, which we'll get to our injury report for racing in just a second. Top Gun Racing has confirmed plans that they are going to enter the Indianapolis 500 with a full campaign they are going to try to attempt in 2022. Thoughts on that? Yesterday, Simona Di Silvestro, former supercar driver, will have Moneyline in her attempt to make it into this year's Indy 500. She will drive the number 16 car. I don't know what team she's... Oh, Pareta Autosport. That's the team. That's who she's going to drive for the Indy 500. Hopefully she'll make the race. Here's something, and I want Corbin's thoughts on this. IndyCar will now have a 2-day, will have road courses be a 2-day weekend. Let me explain how this is going to work. The change has been introduced for two primary reasons. The first is to reduce costs for the teams in the series, as far as travel is concerned. Second is to reduce personnel potential exposure time while the U.S. is still in the COVID-19. Makes sense. The Chevy Detroit GP will also become a 2-day affair for IMSA, which we'll talk about that on the IMSA podcast next week. And we'll get Taylor's thoughts on this. That race will now run a week earlier than planned. Also, the CDGP organizers wish to remain sensitive to the fact that Belle Isle venue is a state park used by others, therefore keeping 3 total days of action and reducing setup/teardown time to 59 days. Texas Motor Speedway, like Belle Isle, will be also 2 days of IndyCar action, but including 2 races, while the round at Gateway we'll see IndyCars on track just 1 day after the truck race on the previous night. So, this year 12 races will start at 3 p.m. Eastern or sooner. And also, Firestone is expected to reduce the number of tire sets per car at events reduced to 2 days, although rookies will continue to receive 1 more set than series veterans. What's your thoughts on that one? That's a really interesting topic to discuss. Yep, really gonna be interesting. Dalvin Restivo, I think that's how you say his last name. He will become the interim crew chief for Cole Custer for this weekend's race at Phoenix and next weekend's race at Atlanta, after Mike Shiplett was suspended for 2 races for 2 lug nuts not properly installed on the car following Sunday's race at Las Vegas, which is a fair assessment. Mike Shippett, I think that's how you say his, I think that's the crew chief's name, was fined $20,000 and suspended for 2 races. All the other crew chiefs from the Cup race has been only fined $10,000 for 1 lug nut not properly installed, Truck Series, there were a few. Stuart Friesen's 52 crew chief was fined, I think, $5,000 or something like that, and then there was like and then Allmendinger's crew chief was fined $7,500 for one lug nut not properly installed. So that was the only penalties we had at Las Vegas. That's lug nut penalties, not actual penalties. So there you go. Let me check here. DL Jr. is going to take his Chevy Nova to pace the field before the Xfinity race for Throwback Weekend, which is nice to see. The SRX car, which I just saw, yesterday, looked nice, so I got no comment on that. Times for the SRX schedule with the times have not been announced, but it will be part of global. So SRX will now count for the global standings. So how about that? Welcome to the family. So, I think that is all as far as the top story news. Now to the Mercy Orthopedics injury report. If you have not heard, Shane Van Gisbergen, or SVG we like to call him, is sitting out this weekend because he is recovering from collarbone surgery after he was involved in a bike accident. So he should be 100% clear to go by the time we get into next weekend. So at least he had some off time to heal. He will probably be cleared to race when we go to Sandown in a couple of weeks. So yeah. I think that is it as far as that's concerned. So before we get to recap, before we look ahead to let's try that again. Before we get to Phoenix, I don't know how the hell it came to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is later in the playoffs. We'll DGB. Anyway, before we get to Phoenix, there's a little note I need to pass along to you guys regarding about DTM as far as that's concerned. And if you notice, the global standing points, even though, yeah, global standings remain the same, but if you notice the points have changed, that was because after the schedule was recently announced, without warning, DTM, without warning, dropped Russia off the calendar for some unknown reasons. Not sure if it had something to do with COVID-19, not sure if it had anything to do with what's going on with the country of Russia as far as the controversy, banning athletes from representing the flag of Russia. I don't know. Whatever the case, Russia is off the calendar. Monza will now be the opening round of the championship, and the 6 extra points for global and the bonus point for all the global people have been added. Do what? Oh, okay. So let's preview Phoenix, shall we? This weekend is only the Xfinity and Cup Series. Now, this is the first time we're running the 750 package. It is the smaller spoiler and a lot more horsepower than we had at Las Vegas. So what do you think we're going to see at Phoenix if the last several races there have any indication for me? Oh, it's gonna be interesting with Phoenix. You know, it's gonna be hot and slick. The cars are gonna slip slide around. Restarts, I know, are gonna be crazy. You got to take care of the right front tire, because we've seen it time and time and time and time again that if you do not take care of that right front tire, you're going to melt the bead, you're going to hit the wall, your day's pretty much over with. You got to take care of the right front tire. We've seen it time and time again. Got to take care of the tires. Got to take care of your brakes. Got to take care of everything, because it is going to be a hot and slick racetrack with the sun beaming down on it. And with no practice in qualifying, it really is going to make the car, you've got to make a good setup right, you know, because if you don't, you're pretty much, your race is pretty much over. And by the way, I just gave you the keys to the race for Phoenix, so hooray for me! So, before we get to predictions, let's hope and pray, because this time last year, after the Phoenix race, which by the way, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of after the Phoenix race, the NASCAR season was suspended because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's hope and pray Atlanta does not get postponed. Let's hope and pray Atlanta does not get postponed this year, like what happened last year, if you know what I mean. Ormy's praying with me, too, on that one. So, let's hope and pray we don't have that crap happen again. So, alright, let's get right to predictions. Brought to you by the way, that was the Mercy Orthopedics injury report on SVG, as far as that's concerned. On that, slow down by an arthritis, a broken bone, or a sports injury, count on Mercy to help restore your orthopedic life. Call Mercy Orthopedics today. Mercy and the PCSRA, a partnership for more than 80 years. Oh, I forgot to update you all. Morgan Henderson has been released from the hospital after she annihilated the crap out of Nathan Orman, which I don't think she meant to do that intentionally, but thankfully it was on the passenger side, so yeah. She was okay. She was a little shaken up, but they just needed to get her checked at the hospital. But she's happily released and probably is still waking up and feeling all that pain from that hit she took last night. So, yeah, good to see Morgan Anderson's all right. All right. If you don't know how our predictions go, it goes like this. Driver to win, driver to stay away from, driver you pick as the dark horse. 1 point per category this week, since global is off, as far as that's concerned. So here are the global standings after here are the global standings after I just told you about the whole deal. Of course, like I said, no changes in the global standings other than the points, which means Cody Smart, Nathan Norman have 16 points, yours truly 15, Taylor's got 12, Cody Goforth, Brendan Rogers have 9. There you go. So coming into the Phoenix race weekend, it is really tight, if you ask me. Cody Smart took the points lead from yours truly. Cody Smart leads by 2 points over yours truly. I have 15 points. Cody has 17 points. Kyle Langland and Zachary Taylor are tied for third at 14 points. Cody Goforth rounds out the top 5 with 13. Brendan Rogers has 12. Great Lakes 11. Ormy's got 10. And Cuman has 8. Yes, all of the panelists have scored points this season, compared to other shows where over half the panelists have not scored points. Shocker! So, alright. Since Ormy and I are the only two in this VC, we'll just go ahead. You basically know who's going first in that regard. Wink, wink. And also, Ormy just hugged Courtney Lynn. And now he's hugging his other drivers. Alright. Alright, Ormy. Who you got for Xfinity for driver to win? Not Xfinity. Not the Cody Smart impression. Do what? What'd you say, Orman? Wait, who? Oh, you're picking Brandon Jones. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Would like to see Brandon Jones get a win to get into the playoffs, get that out of the way. Who's the driver to stay away from? You said Harrison Burton, right? Alright. And... oh, yeah, damn it, hang on. Sorry, I was cleaning something off my charger and then my cord came off. Okay, who's your dark horse? Myatt Snyder. Alright, and Cup. Hi, Great Lakes. Who is it? Denny Hamlin. Oh. Driver stay away from. Ryan Blaney, okay. And dark horse. Ooh, you're taking a petty car. That's interesting. Alright, yours truly's turn. Okay, so I think a lot of you guys are going to be happy about these picks I'm about to make, because I have a feeling that... oh, you took Riley Herbst. Okay, so I made a mistake. Give me 1 second, I'll fix that. I thought you said Harrison Burton. I was like, wait, you said Riley Herbst. Okay, I got lost there for a second. I got lost. Okay. Terrible Herbst. Yep, I knew you were going to pick Herbst. Driver to win Xfinity. I'm actually going to take the teammate of Brandon Jones. I'm going to take Harrison Burton as the driver to win. Yes, interesting. Nobody picked Harrison Burton. Shocker. Driver stay away from. I feel like, to me, the driver to stay away from is really interesting, because I didn't expect him to get off to a very slow start. I thought, you know, with him going to Ford, I thought it was going to be easy, but apparently it made himself really difficult in a way that it's not going well so far. I'm taking Ryan Sieg as the driver to stay away from. Sorry, Fitzy. The dark horse, I feel like he's going to have some momentum, and he did pretty good at Vegas, which I was kind of surprised. And I have a good feeling he could end up getting another good result. I'm going to say Jeff Burton as the dark horse. How ironic. Let's try that again. How ironic I picked the two Burton drivers for driver to win and dark horse. Don't know if the two are related, but you get the point. Alright. Alright, for Cup. In my opinion, I feel like, you know, one of the reasons I might take this driver is how much good success he did. As the wind cannot stop blowing! God damn it, wind! Can you stop being a dickhead? Anyway, in my opinion, I think a lot of us are going to be grateful for me to pick this, because I feel like this pick had to be necessary in the greatest nation of all. I'm taking Chase Elliott as driver to win. driver to stay away from, in my opinion, I feel like having to say the GOAT will never come true and all that. And I have to say, this is really one of those picks that makes me want to go, man, is he really having a sucky season? Because, to be honest with you, I didn't expect him to suck at Las Vegas, and I really didn't want to pick him, but sadly, I'm going to have to pick him in a way that is necessary. I'm going to say Kevin Harvick is the driver to stay away from. God damn it, Wind! Can you stop blowing the damn can while I'm making my predictions? Here. I'll just put that on top so you don't blow up the damn controller, you pile of shit, Win. Anyway, the dark horse, I feel like, in my opinion, he really is good at a track like Phoenix, and I think it's going to wait and see as my controller got knocked over by the wind. Wind is about to get smacked. But as I was saying before, the wind decided to do that, in my opinion, that I think if you have to, you might have to take him because he's really good at Phoenix, and I really hope he can finally turn what has not been a good start to his rookie campaign around. I'm going to say Chase Briscoe as the dark horse. As of now, that's the only two predictions. As of now, but, yeah. Before we get to final thoughts, let's take a look at this week's upcoming events, brought to you by Kim K Coach Lines, the official motor coach carrier of the PCSRA. Visit KimKCoach.com for more details. Friday is the NASCAR Pit Stop Show, as they will recap the Las Vegas weekend. They'll go through their top story news. They'll preview Phoenix as far as how that will go as far as that's concerned. So, looking forward to see how the expert panels and Elijah will say about that crazy weekend at Vegas. That's a look at this week's upcoming events, brought to you by Kim K Coach Lines, the official motor coach carrier of the PCSRA. Visit KimKCoach.com for more details. Excuse me, I just belched. Let me throw this can away before the stupid wind decides to do something stupid. So, yeah. So that's a look at this week's upcoming events. As brought to you by Kim K Coach Lines, as far as that's concerned. As far as looking at this week's upcoming PCSRA awesome events, for more on the Michigan and Charlotte, we'll have Inside PCSRA tomorrow, hopefully. We're going to talk about the tricky triangle of Pocono Raceway, or probably talk about Dover on the show, which will be really interesting to see how that will turn out as far as that's concerned. Tomorrow to be announced. As far as that's concerned, we're looking forward to all of that on the show. So that's a look at this week's upcoming PCSRA racing events. Brought to you by Subway Eat Fresh, proud sponsor of Chloe Bumgarner, the number 84 Audi RS8. Any final thoughts, Orman? Yeah. Yeah, we're probably going to start a VC to probably have Sean Art, if he wants to join us, because we are going to be, we'll actually have the rest of the panelists give our predictions off the air. There you go. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. We'll start a VC in a little bit, because I'm getting ready to wrap up the broadcast, so there you go. Alright, so Ormy had to go. Alright, so should be interesting to see how Phoenix will go this weekend. The Oklahoma Highway Safety Office is a proud partner of the PCSRA and wants to remind all of our friends that drinking and driving is deadly and illegal. Together we can end DUI. Visit enduyok.com for more details. One more thing before I sign off. Please make sure you send condolences to my friend Sam Davis, who lost a family member this past You know, Sam Davis, if you're watching this, we're thinking about you and your family, and, you know, we're praying for you and hope you'll heal like I've been healing so far. Want to thank our amazing team, Nathan Orman. We also want to thank also our awesome panelists, Zachary Taylor, Cody Smart, Kyle Langland, Roadrunner, Great Lakes, and all of our amazing people. Our statistician, Caleb Hobbs, producer and engineer, Zachary Fitzwater, Jackie Tang, Alex Hawkins, Dennis Stats Kelly, Tom Shores, our sideline engineer, and Daniel Anderson running the show for us back at our PCSRA network, PCSRA OU network studios in Oklahoma. Final score. One final time at the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman in a disappointing loss last Thursday, if my phone wants to pull it up. It was Greg Rutz and Texas. Hang on a second. It was Greg Rutz and Texas. Okay. There we go. It was Greg Rutz and Texas 69 and OU 65. OU is now on a 3-game losing streak. Hopefully they'll snap that streak this Thursday. Until next week, when we recap Phoenix, take ready awesome and all of that, and we look ahead to our other global races as well as Atlanta Motor Speedway. Hopefully it will happen this year on time, then getting rescheduled to July. But until next week, this is Daniel Volstan. Boomer Sooner, everybody. On the PCSRA Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, PCSRA Paddock Pass has been brought to you by Budweiser, Loves Travel Stops, iHeartMedia, The Oklahoman, Newcastle Casino, Devon Energy, Sonic Drive-Ins, and by the Oklahoma Highway Safety Office, where we encourage all of you fans that together we can end DUI. Thanks for joining us for the PCSRA Paddock Pass Show. The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation on the PCSRA Sports Network. Copyright 2021 by the National Association of Professional Racing Leagues and the Pacific Coast Sports Racing Association, Incorporated.